well, JFK, Diana, all those usual conspiracies. What would you give us as an unusual conspiracy theory, Jonathan?
Well, there was one that came to mind, but it's sort of indirect ties in with 9/11.
Right, listen, have you got a bit your line's a bit, it's very dodgy actually, Jonathan. Is there anywhere you can go to make it a wee bit better, and I'll phone you back in 1 minute?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Now, we've took Jonathan on a bit of the hop there. He said it's 9/11 related. Don't know, what do you reckon?
Welcome to Free Radical Radio. Your host this evening, Tommy from Glasgow.
Right. So what we're offering is a mix like this, an advert like this, done up like that. We can offer you advertising space here. Advertising space here if you've got a company down under, if you've got an internet business, if you've got an online presence that you want posted up. If you want advertising, if it's a business anywhere, then we can certainly help you out with competitive rates. Competitive rates, we're aiming to take it 24/7 and broadcasting across the UK and the planet. We're going to be doing conspiracy shows on a Sunday night. Let's hear the mad Jonathan. He's almost as mad as me, but not quite. It takes man to know man. So let's see if we get a better line here, God willing. Oh, sounds good, promising.
Hello?
Right, Jonathan, what were you going to say? It's 9/11 related, semi. What do you mean?
Well, it's only indirectly related to 9/11. It's actually primarily about the real culprit behind the energy companies holding the country to ransom.
Your line is still pretty poor, but on you go. See, are you hanging outside your window ledge? Are you swinging about in the window ledge? Are you on the eaves of the house? Surely there must be somewhere you can stand on the roof, even, Jonathan. If you stand in the same line of sight as the satellite, aim your phone in the way of the satellites. Normally go. If Rupert Murdoch can get a signal to millions of dafties on a TV, surely just follow his satellite. You'll be all right.
Well, okay.
Sounds good.
Now, as we all
sorted it, I told you. On you go, crack on.
As we all know, the energy companies are ripping us off for every penny piece they can get. But I believe that one of the reasons why the energy companies are able to fleece us is actually because of Nick Clegg and his reforms to the democratic process in this country. I'll explain why now.
But hold on, they've been fleecing us. Excuse me, Your Honour. They've been fleecing us for numbers of years prior to this. So you can't just you can't just lump a chumpture like him. I mean, nice and easy as it would be to give that half-wit all the blame, but before he even sniffed a whiff of power, the good old consumers of Blighty have been getting shafted like Jordan getting it up the bakey.
There's no doubt about that, but let me set the scenario for you. We know there's going to be an election in May 2015. We know that Ed Miliband is going to impose a 20-month moratorium on energy price increases. We know that the Tory party is going to run on the platform that vote Ed and get higher electricity and gas bills. And we know that in a preemptive strike, the energy companies will hike up their prices way beyond the 10% that we've seen this winter. And the reason that they're able to do that, the energy companies, to get their retaliation in early, is because we've moved from a maximum term parliament to a fixed term parliament because of Nick Clegg. And a maximum term parliament is something like this. When a government is elected, it can serve no more than 5 years. But within that 5-year period, if a leader feels confident of renewing his mandate, he can go to the country early. And as we've seen, many prime ministers have gone to the country a year earlier than they need to renew their mandate.
But that was what they used to do, but then obviously New Labour changed it last time when they went to full 5, so these half-wits have obviously decided we'll go the same crack.
Yeah, well, the only leaders that tend to serve out the full 5 years tend to be the ones who are deeply unpopular in the country and are clinging on to power by their fingertips, like Gordon Brown, John Major, and if it hadn't been for a vote of confidence in '79, Jim Callaghan.
So why are they going for the full? I mean, they stated that right at the start. Why did they state that right at the start? Is this a conspiracy you're reckoning?
Oh, it was a deliberate conspiracy. Nick Clegg sold fixed-term parliaments as the Prime Minister has too much power to call an election when he pleases, or not at all, as the case was with Gordon Brown. We need to take that power away from one man and give it to Parliament, and the only way to do that is to have a fixed-term Parliament.
But hold on, has that been now enshrined in law? Has that been now enshrined? Is that now?
Yeah, it's been enshrined in law, and that's how they've spun it. A fixed-term Parliament, more democracy.
Hold on. So you used to be up until because Gordon Brown could have come in, and at any point he could have called a snap election. So you saying now that we're stuck for now? This has just been brought in where every 5 years, boom, you've got to have it in May 2015 and then May 2020, May 2025. So there can't be an election every 4 years, or if one of them was to, what if say there was to be a minority where the minority government will say it was just almost not a split parliament they've got just now, but say it was just a majority by 1 or 2 votes, then what could happen? A few deaths could cause it to be a split parliament. And then if it was to be a case that the government would run on it, but then if something was to be drastically happened, then the rest of the parliament could vote that out and cause an election. So are you saying that this could never happen? Well, this means this could never happen again. So this is a drastic shift in a democratic system. And you're the only crackpot who's told me about it. When did this get brought in? Am I even not been told about it? How did I know? What's going down here?
No one knows what would happen if the government fell during the fixed-term parliament. But you would assume by the use of the word fixed term...
Stay there, your line's bad. You need to jump outside, Jonathan, against it. Hang outside the eaves again. Swing about, get on that starlight. Right, stay there. This is ridiculous, isn't it? Any you know about it, tell me.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would assume by the use of the term fixed term that you couldn't have an election outside set periods. Whereas under the old system, a prime minister could call a snap election at any time within a 5-year period. I preferred that system because if a leader feels that he has enough support in the country to renew his mandate whenever he sees fit. Whereas this system, it's actually there's less accountability. It's actually less democracy. And the only people who benefit from fixed-term parliaments are speculators on the stock market and the utility companies.
Jonathan, your line is atrocious. What's the matter with your line there? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, listen, right, well, because now we'll come back to this, right, because I know this is one of your favourite ones, but is there another one, because I know it's a good conspiracy, but is there anything, how can I put it in the words of a bloody, anything more sexy?
What I'm talking about?
I don't know, you get a violent conspiracy, you get one that involves murder, sex, blood, death, mayhem. Have you got something that, a conspiracy of Parliament, something that is, I don't know, could we speculate that Did Margaret Thatcher, did she have any sexual liaisons or something? Is there anything, I don't know, is there anything different after the radar that I'm asking you? Something know about
Well,
bloody...
here's something that you need to watch out for in early 2014. Tony Blair's sex life is going to be front page news.
How many people has he banged? Has he banged women and men, or is it just... I think he definitely swings both ways, but will we see that in the news?
The evidence suggests that he swings both ways.
So basically, he could have been caught in a menage a trois with both Rupert Murdoch and Wendy Dang as well, whatever she's called.
Oh no, it's even more salacious than that.
Dear God,
it really is. Because in 1983, a man was convicted to act in a public toilet and was fined £50. And the defendant's name was Anthony Charles Linton. And those three names also happen to be the first three names of Anthony Charles Linton Blair. So we've got a conspiracy there that Blair deliberately withheld his surname to avoid public scandal. Because Anthony Charles Linton Blair gets fined 50 quid for sexual intercourse with another man in a public toilet.
And what year was this?
It's all over the internet. But
a man, 1983 it was, and there we go. We break this exclusive. So there you go. But breaking yes, there we go. We've had two. We've got one about the elections, how it's now a fixed term parliament. Absolutely joke. And now Tony Blair is caught banging all sorts. So is there anybody famous? Do you reckon he's just been swinging about like mad? Do you think how many of his wives are just mad swingers? Do you think they're just upper class Tommy Sheridan characters? Are they right at the top of the tree? They're swinging it about in castles and mansions.
Tony Blair is very much of the Tommy Sheridan.
Allegedly, anyway, because our brother Tommy was innocent, but I'm just talking about the salacious stuff that you've seen, just for the listeners that are out there trying to think of it, because the old Tommy's our brother, and I wouldn't want to cast any aspersions, but you know what, everybody just, you know what I'm saying, that so on the swingers that there was mentioned about in the papers, because I'm not listening to any of those right-wing bastards and scum, what they said about brother Tommy. He will be vindicated in due course, but you know what I'm talking about. So you're talking about high class swingers clubs.
On the Sheridan front, I find the whole stuff about it bizarre, because he was vindicated in a court of in a libel court, and then you had this newspaper campaign, which pretty much threw the kitchen sink at him. And I actually believe his wife, if he had been playing away from home, she would be in prison for murder, and he would be wearing concrete shoes underneath the Clyde.
That's what she stated as well. Right, so moving on. We're setting all sets of records here. Any more international conspiracies? Drugs? Is there a drugs conspiracy? I hear the people out there saying, have you got a drugs and governmental conspiracy possibly, Jonathan?
Well, we could see a war with Uruguay because they've legalised cannabis.
Indeed they have. Indeed they have. Is it medicinal purposes, or is it purely recreational?
No, it's actually a state industry. It's a 100% government-owned industry.
And what are they trying to do? What are they going to be doing in Uruguay? Montevideo, we need to get Montevideo on the line maybe. See what Montevideo is doing out there. If there's anybody who's English-speaking in Montevideo that we can get a hold of, God willing, we'll get them on.
The new law won't come into service until April. So I think
enough time to get all the plants in order, get your plants in order, get them seeded, get them propagated, and get them under the hydroponics, because come April, once they're all dried and cured up to the max, you can sell them out there for a hefty profit. So there you go, get them rolling down, get them going, 4 months to go, and